All right, I have Feminist Flow with me. Do you want me to introduce you as Feminist Flow or Feminist Period?
Oh, feminist flow will do fine.
All
Or
right.
just flow to keep it short, or fem flow, or whatever you feel like.
Yeah. Anyway, I just found this crazy article and I would put it on screen share. Ugh. Uh, why it's time to repeal the Second Amendment? Uh, by Rolling Stones. Uh, can you see it? Has it showed up?
Sorry, I was muted. No, it still hasn't shown up. I just see the Hangout window.
Uh, maybe I shared the wrong thing. Let's see. Um, where's
Hi, sweetie.
Hello. Does it show up now? Why it's time to repeal the Second Amendment by Rolling Stone?
No, it's still the Hangout window.
Uh,
So you've got to share a different window, not that one.
I keep trying to share the right one, but for some reason it's not working. How about now?
Yay!
Is it the right one now?
Yes.
Okay. Why it's time to repeal the Second Amendment? I teach the Constitution for a living. I revere the documents when it's used to further social justice. And I think that's the problem right there. That laws should bend to fit an ideology. I think that's exactly where this person went wrong. And make our country a more inclusive one. I admire the founders for establishing a representative democracy that has survived for over 2 centuries. But sometimes we just have to acknowledge that the founders and the Constitution are wrong. This is one of those times. We need to say loud and clear the Second Amendment must be repealed. Um, Anybody agree or disagree so far?
I disagree so
Yeah.
badly.
Yeah, I disagree too. I'm a big proponent of responsible gun ownership, which is different than gun control.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm also for the Second Amendment. Do we have anybody who's against the Second Amendment here?
No.
Mm.
No.
Not me. Nope.
No, and actually we tried to ask about 20 people to organize a stream about Second Amendment, and it was really hard to find somebody who's for repealing the Second Amendment, strangely enough.
Yeah, strangely enough, because the media keeps making a big deal about it and how we need to ban all guns. As much
Yeah, maybe I just hang out with gun nuts or something, but no, the only people I see that are against guns are people who have never handled a weapon before, or people that haven't been in the military, or people that have slightly have been sheltered, or people from the UK where the context is completely different from the US.
Well, I'm from the Netherlands, and the context here is different too. And most people are against uh, owning guns. I don't know why. I think it's a great way to keep your government in check. But
Well,
whatever.
not only that, but keep the criminals in check because there's nothing
Well,
restricting the criminals from acquiring weapons. So if you put
no.
more stringent qualifications to buy a gun legally, well, that doesn't affect the criminals at all. It
No,
just
no. That's
penalizes the law-abiding citizens.
This is true, but you have to realize that we in the Netherlands have in the last couple of years closed several detention centers because we don't have enough criminals. And yes, serious criminality is a problem. It's a problem everywhere. You know, the criminals that band together and do shit. It's a problem everywhere. But simple criminality is low, even though nobody has a gun. The Second Amendment is not for criminality. It's of against criminality. It's against the government. It's really important. It's one of the cornerstones of the U.S. I think it should be a cornerstone of any democracy.
Yeah, because the government can be backed either by the police force or the military, and they all
Yes.
have weapons. So how do
Yes.
you fight them back with sticks and stones in case, let's
Yes.
say, a world leader goes batshit crazy and decides to become a tyrant, autocrat, dictator?
Yes. You have to be able to counter that. It's not about the criminals. It's a straw man.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah, I posted the link to watch the Hangouts on side chats. I'm about to post the link to watch on Twitter real quick, just in case if any of you want to pass it along.
Clickety click.
Yeah, I'm about to post this on Twitter so everybody can see. And if you guys want to retweet it, that's fine. But I just posted just now.
All right. Can you make a tweet and we'll retweet the tweet?
I just posted it on Twitter right now.
Yeah.
So if you guys want to retweet it, that would be nice.
I just did. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Because I'm extremely lazy. Because if I tweeted myself, I would have had to look the Twitter account of the two other guys, and I just met them less than 5 minutes ago. So, hi, by the way.
Hi.
Nice to meet you.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Yeah. So, one's from the Netherlands, and what's your background, other person, sir?
Actually, I'm live here in the United States. I'm a former combat medic in the United States Army.
Good. So you're definitely against guns, right?
Oh yes, completely. Have to get rid of them. Oh no, of course not. No. Once again, I guess we're all in a similar company today.
Yeah. Actually, I worked for a military contractor. I never served, but I did 2 tours as a civilian contractor in Afghanistan. So even though I wasn't the military per se, I was always where stuff was happening in the action and in danger zones.
Yes, I would consider that you were right there in the theater of action. So you definitely bring some definite points.
Yeah,
To this
and
conversation.
also I wasn't assigned a weapon, which caused me some trouble one time when my transport got ambushed, and my 2 escort guards were kind of killed next to me, and I was left by myself.
Yes, I bet that was kind of an eye-opening experience for you.
Yes, because the first thing that came to my mind is I need a weapon. And strangely enough, since I came back, I've been building, I don't want to say an arsenal, but I have a good collection now for some reason. Yeah, so I'm a big proponent of right to gun ownership, not for the situation I've been to when I was working with the military, but still for personal reasons. Like even since that time, I got my concealed carry permit, and I managed to stop an attempt of home invasion because I had a weapon on me at the time. So two meth heads tried to kicked in the front door, like at around 7 p.m. at night. And it ended up with me holding one at gunpoint until the police showed up while the other guy left. And because the guy that stayed turned on the other guy, they caught him too. So, ooh, guns kill people. Yeah.
Yeah.
According to me, guns in the right situations, guns can actually prevent the loss of life or prevent injuries. They can save lives. It's not always about killing people, because guns are a good argument when you're trying to convince somebody to just freeze.
Yeah.
So after that event, it would be hard for me to get convinced by anybody that no, there's no reason for private gun ownership.
I would say if someone would break in here, I know my house. I have a nice piece of wood at the top of my stairs. I know how many stairs they have to get up to. It's rather simple, you know. If I have a home invader and he dares to come up, well, he gets a plank of wood in his face. I don't need a gun. The gun, to me, is it's not for my safety. It's not for my family's safety. It's for society's safety. You have to be ready to overthrow your government. I think that's the whole issue with the Second Amendment is that people always say it's about crime. It's not. It's not about crime. It's about being able to overthrow your government. It's about to form a militia. Without a militia, you have no way to control your government. They can do whatever they want because they have a military, they have police on their side. They have what we call a monopoly on violence, and that's a bad thing. They can do whatever they want. It's a bad thing.
Exactly. You are quite correct on that. But I always look at it from the same sort of standpoint. Yes, you want to be able to defend yourself from an overreaching government. But as free people, all free people should be able to have the right to be able to defend themselves, no matter, in any way, shape, or form that they deem fit. Yes, I mean,
on their own property.
Well, of course, on their own property, or if, let's say, they are in public and they are being attacked, you should always have the ability to defend yourself. You do not have the right to aggress against others.
Yes.
That's my complete feeling on that.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
And also, I've heard some people that say, well, if it wasn't a gun-free zone in that club in Orlando, somebody might have shot the shooter. I strongly disagree with that point, though. Because, during concealed carry training courses, they say, remember, the bullets are not magic. They don't magically stop instantly after you hit one target. They keep on going.
Yes.
So if somebody would have tried, like somebody who's not used to react and is in almost a combat situation, is not used to it and just fires on the shooter just by reflex or just to try to disable him, he might
It's
have
hard.
hit two or three other people.
But it's hardly possible. You know, a concealed carry goes with a holster in which your weapon is secured. You have to take time to get it out.
Yeah. It's not like the
Um,
cowboys where you just slip it
no.
in and can flip it out and
Yes. I had a conversation with someone on Twitter who said, I would hope that if something like this would happen to me, I would be, you know, if he was reloading, I would attack him. And I told her, I don't think you would. He's shooting at a group of people of which you are a part. You're scared to death. You're not looking at him.
Yeah, and if he had some minimal training, reloading is what, a second, 2 second max?
Yes. And well, if you had a concealed carry permit and you were carrying in that situation, the fact that he has a clip, he had not an AR-15 but another kind of weapon with what, maybe 10 bullets? I don't know. A handgun can hold 13 nowadays.
Depending, can go up to 17 for some,
Mhm.
depending on the size of it, size of the magazine, and size
So
of the cartridge itself.
he's shooting. He has two guns. You know, he has the one gun. He had a second gun, and he's shooting. And while he's reclipping the one gun, he's holding the other gun in his hand. You know, you move, bang, he shoots. I think the only way to get out of this situation by shooting him is by being really, really, really attentive of what's going on. And I don't think you can do that without military training.
Yeah, or police force training at least.
Or police force training, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, because even as part of my console carry training course, we had to do speed reload on a second and third magazine.
Mm-hmm.
Even if somebody was using a revolver, it was one of the prerequisites to have a speed reloader for the revolver.
Because
So if somebody has minimal amount of training, and I don't mean super paramilitary training, I mean just
no.
the basic kind of training that's required to get a concealed carry permit.
So gentlemen, let me sort of understand where we're coming from. So if you were in the situation and you were a person, of course, with a concealed carry, so would you or would you not take the shot?
If I were clear enough,
It
you know,
depends
to
on the
realize, yes, to realize in the situation and to realize where I am in context to him, and to realize at that moment, oh my God, I have a gun. I have a gun. I can shoot him.
yeah, no,
he's
but
he's shooting at
the
us.
because you need to be aware of your surroundings, aware of your environment, and the only
Yes.
scenario where I see taking a shot would be possible if everybody's ducked on the ground or taking cover on the ground, and the shooter is the only person standing up.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's
so
it's a very difficult situation, I think.
Yes, because if it's in the middle of a crowd and you're standing too, everybody's standing around, the shooter is standing, and you shoot, well, there's going to be 2 or 3 more casualties.
Okay,
Maybe
but
overall the tally will be less than 50,
yeah,
but still, that looks bad in the news, and you can get charged for actually homicide because of that, even if you save the lives of
yeah,
many.
if you shove that aside, you know, he's shooting at everyone, and everyone is ducking. Everyone is behind counters and behind tables, and you know, everyone is low. He's the only one standing up. The fact that someone is shooting at you, and I've seen what a bullet can do, it's terrifying. It's so terrifying. It's not even funny anymore. You know, I shot an Uzi, and you see you pull the trigger, and before you hear the shot, the target is down. It's it's weird. It's really really weird to have someone shoot anywhere. It's a strange thing. because it's 30 grams and it shoots a person straight up against the wall, and you know this, and it terrifies you. It's that simple. So to get over that, you need training, and the only way to get training is in the military or in the police force. I was in the military, but I was, conscripted. I didn't get that kind of training. I don't know if I could do it.
Okay.
Yeah, like one guy I met through work, he says he was in the Danish military and he shot his rifle 3 times in 2 years of service.
Yes.
Yeah,
It's
so like you said, unless you're used to get shot at, yeah, it can be unnerving, but then it depends on each person, how they react. Who knows? Maybe some people will say, "No, man, I would have shot the guy." Yeah. Then
yeah,
they would
yeah,
have been the
sure.
first one to hide and forget that they got a weapon on them.
But the first one to get shot.
Yeah, it's like you never know if you're not prepared and if you haven't rehearsed that scenario, you're never sure how you're going to react. Because personally, I've been trained mostly to just pull out a gun at somebody, not to fire. They say, yeah, it might be an eventuality, but also remember that each time you pull out your weapon, be ready to fire also.
Yes. Yes. Don't pull out your weapon if you're not ready to fire. Don't point it at someone if you're not ready to kill him. Yeah.
Yeah, and if somebody brings up the scenario of, well, I could have shot him in the leg to disable him, no, you shoot to kill every time.
Exactly.
Oh, should I continue reading from the article?
Yeah, sure.
All right. Let's see. Can you guys see it?
Yes.
As much as we have a culture of reverence for the founding generation, it's important to understand they got it wrong, and they got it wrong often. Unfortunately, in many instances, they enshrine those faults in the Constitution. For instance, most people don't know, but under the original documents, Mitt Romney would be serving as President Obama's vice president right now because he was runner-up in the last presidential election. The parts of the Constitution was fixed by the 12th Amendment, which sets up the system we currently have for the presidents and vice presidents running for office together.
Well, there's a false dichotomy, a false equivalence, really. Sorry, Rin. Can you go back a bit? He's comparing the Constitution to the amendments. That's false. You can't do that. The Constitution is the Constitution, and the amendments were made to amend the Constitution. And the 12th Amendment is an amendment on the Constitution. So, no, they didn't get it wrong. There were amendments on it. So, this is rubbish.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, that's a very good point. You didn't think of that.
And the Second Amendment is an amendment on the Constitution. It's that simple, really.
Much more profoundly, the framers of the Constitution were widely wrong on race. They enshrined slavery into the Constitution in multiple ways, including taking the extreme step of prohibiting the Constitution being amended to stop the slave trade in the country's first 20 years. They also blatantly wrote racism into the Constitution by counting slaves as only 3/5 of a person for purposes of congressional representation. It took a bloody civil war to fix these constitutional flaws, and then another 150 years and counting to try to fix the societal consequences of them.
Here's a flaw in itself. He's comparing slavery to race. No, if you're a slave, you don't have to be black. You can be Irish.
Mm-hmm.
It's, again, a fault in the article.
What I thought was really interesting was that he was, we're talking about the Second Amendment and amending the Second Amendment or taking it out, but by taking away the Second Amendment, you're pretty much enslaving your population. So
Yes.
we're just back to slavery. That's wonderful.
Yeah, but slavery of the whole and of some.
Exactly.
That's less horrible.
The car put out a video recently, I think, where he said that during the time of like slavery, they didn't give the slaves the guns. They gave people who hate the slaves the guns. And in Germany, they didn't give the Jews any guns. They gave people who are strictly on Hitler's side the guns. That keeping guns away from people is the way to enslave people.
Yes.
People to be truly free, they need to have guns to ensure their freedom.
Yes. 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 Of course, you can trust your government. I know a lot of Dutch people do. I don't.
Yeah, the left. A lot of people on the left view the governments as their parents of sorts. They just want the government to make everything better. It's kind of like, help me with this, help me with that. They're very infantilized, and they just need the government to be like a second parent.
Yes. Yes. It's obvious when you look at feminism and the way they fight for the right for a woman to corporal integrity. You know, when they say a woman can choose to be a mother, but the father cannot choose to not be a father. The government actually levies taxes against men to provide for women. This is the same thing. It's exactly the same thing.
Yeah. There are other flaws that have been fixed, such as about voting in presidential succession, and still other flaws that have not yet been fixed, such about equal rights for women. Women already have equal rights. What rights does a man have that a woman doesn't have? And
Well, not the right to corporal integrity, at least. That's a right that women have and men don't.
and land-based representation in the Senate. But the point is the same. There is absolutely nothing permanently sacrosanct about the founders in the Constitution. They were deeply flawed people. It was and is flawed documents. And when we think about how to make our country a more perfect union, we must operate with those principles in mind.
Yes, yes, it's true. Truisms are truisms. They were flawed, of course. That's where the amendments came in.
However,
That's where the Second Amendment came in, and the Fifth, and the Sixth, and the Eighth, and the 12th. They came in because the document itself was flawed. It's that simple. And again, he's conflating the Constitution itself with the amendments.
Well, if you look at the Constitution and those first 10 amendments, which are the Bill of Rights, and these were things that we were very restricted on under the British. And the British pretty much had our hands tied, especially when it came to arms. And that is how actually the first Lexington and Concord, that's actually how it all started. The British were sent there to confiscate the powder and the muskets. And so, and that's how things end up happening. It's like when you take away our ability to defend ourselves, and that's when Americans get really we get up in arms about that sort of stuff, and that's why they're having such a hard time with weapons now. I mean, they would love to come and confiscate them if they could, but they know historically it's going to be really difficult. It's going to be damn impossible to do it. So, but
Yeah,
I completely lost.
I would like them see approach a redneck and try to take his rifle. That would be glorious.
And unfortunately, I just completely lost the point I was trying to make. And I do that so often, as Ren knows, because I just start rambling. But still, getting back, it was the Constitution sort of thing. Those first 10 amendments are just so important because they really tell us, say, here is what the Constitution lays out. This is what we can do.
Yes,
and
this is what the government can't do.
Take away from us, exactly.
Yes.
The government's not supposed to take it away, but they will do their damnedest to do that. They will try to get through any little door, creation or situations where we have crisis like the shootings. They oh, well, look, we need to protect you from yourself, and the only way we can do that is to confiscate your guns, or have you turn them in willingly, because you'll see that they're obviously hazardous, and and they're going to keep trying until either they figure it out or they convinced enough people that, hey, let's put this to a vote, and all they need is 51%.
Yeah,
that's all you need.
No, 50% plus 1%.
That's it, exactly.
I saw a tweet today by someone who said, who retweeted a thing about the founding fathers wouldn't recognize an AR-15, and a picture with a musket and an AR-15 next to it. And the answer to that was, wait, you do know he had a semi-automatic, right? It's a very specific kind of gun, but Lincoln or Washington, I don't know which of the two. Sorry, I'm not that deep into American history. One of the two founding fathers, I think it was Washington, had a semi-automatic weapon, a French. You put in a magazine and you shoot. So yes, he would recognize it. Really, he would automatically recognize this isn't a weapon. It's a semi-automatic. Look at the magazine; you can see it. It's not a musket. It's stupid to think that they didn't see this coming. That's what I think.
Yeah, when it comes to the founding fathers, they actually had to fight a tyrannical government. They actually had to fight the British to keep their freedom. So that's what the amendment's for. It's for it's rights that you are guaranteed to have. Because if we lose our Second Amendment, then what's to stop the governments for going tyrannical? What's to stop another Adolf Hitler? Because if there is a future Adolf Hitler, he could always give guns to people who are staunchly on his side.
Yes.
And enslave the rest of the population. That's the reason why it's important now for everybody who wants a gun to have a gun for their own protection.
In the U.S., really, I don't think it's really needed here in the Netherlands because, and in Germany, because we have that history. We get confronted with it every year. We have Bevrijdingsdag. We have several other things that remind us of our past. and how bad it can be, and everything the government will do, would want to do against us, won't get elected. It's that easy. And the way the government is built is totally different. You know, we have 16 parties now, 16 parties in our parliament right now. It's different. But in the US, yeah, definitely, you need to be able to defend yourself against your government.
It's kind of to the point where, yes, we have a two-party system, but both parties are almost exactly the same. And I know that might be shocking for some people to hear, but both of them are just full of power-hungry, corrupt individuals. And it's even though they speak two different languages sometimes, they're both, or as the way I like to put it, it's one eagle and it has two different wings. Unfortunately, it's attached to the same bird. Yeah. So
Yeah.
So yeah, we're not that far, or as I believe it was, I can't remember the name of the statesman, but he said that we're only a generation away from losing it all. If you have a generation of children that are not taught their history or not taught what we're gone. We're going to have a problem.
Yeah, I agree completely. That's why we have a law here against denying the Holocaust, and you can say this is against the First Amendment, but you can't. You cannot deny the Holocaust, and it has a reason. You didn't in the US you didn't live it, if I may say that.
No, you're right.
We did, and if you deny it and it gets traction, to us that's the same as what Hitler did. You know, it's not the denying that's a problem. It's a problem if it gets traction. So we restrict certain kinds of speech, and it's not much. But one of the things is denying the Holocaust, and it has a reason. So it's the political context is completely different. But still, here in the Netherlands, I every time I get the opportunity, I vote to get law restrictions out of the law. Gun restrictions out of the law, because I don't think it's good. We need our guns. I can't even have a what you call them, catapult. Catapult. I can't have a catapult. Really, wow. It's against the law.
Yeah, we have guys here who build catapults in their backyard and shoot pumpkins like down the street with them, and it's like, that's awesome. You know, it's a freedom that we definitely have. But I'm really glad. See, I don't really have a chance to really chat with Europeans all that often, and so I don't really get a chance to see what you guys or how you guys look at like the Second Amendment or firearms ownership. So it's really good that you guys are on here today, because this is great information.
I think you have two very liberal persons here. I think most Europeans don't really think we need guns to defend ourselves.
Well, it's good to see at least that there's two of you.
What do you think, feminists? Thing. I lost his name. Where is he?
Flo. Sorry, I was
Flo. Yes.
I have to take a phone call at 4, and I was trying to do that by email instead. Sorry, what was your question about? I heard
Uh,
Europeans are more against guns than Americans, or something like that.
yeah.
Oh.
And the question was, yeah, we seem to be more liberal about it. Am I
Yeah,
wrong?
basically, well, at least my personal opinion is that it's entrenched in the culture of America because America was a country that had to declare independence almost by force, as opposed to some countries in Europe where, yeah, there was force, but it was all settled years and years ago. The like most recent conflict I can think of is like Franco-Prussian War, maybe that redefined borders. Other than that, the borders have been stable for a while. I haven't
No.
seen. I can't think of a country that really changed allegiance from one side to the other. In the Middle East, it would be a different context. Even in Eastern Europe, since the fall of the Soviet Unions, there's
Well,
still borders clash going.
yes, but in America, America exists coming 4th of July for 240 years. Our last war was 60 years ago,
Yeah.
and there were redefined borders. You know, if you look at the border between Germany and France, they were redefined. They were redefined in 1918 also. The border between in Germany itself. It was a straight line almost struck through Germany, and you had East Germany and Western Germany, BRD, DDR. And yes, we had some serious conflicts in the last 120 years, of which the First World War was maybe the baddest. But okay, I don't know where I'm going with this.
Hey, another person who's just like me. Great. Oh, Lord.
But you know, the U.S. has had well, relative security. You know, you've had your Civil War. That's how long is that ago now? 120 years ago?
I think it's like 165, almost 170 years.
Yeah, it's a long time.
Right. But I also look at it that the United States, unlike a lot of the European nations, we had a frontier issue where the country was growing over a period of time. And so guns were used primarily to settle the land, as well as also, unfortunately, fight the indigenous population.
Yes.
Which I do a lot of history research on my own family, and with doing that, I find out different parts of my family history and things, and my family's role in that conquest, and when you start looking at names and finding people and said, oh wow, great, my seventh grade grandfather was there killing people to take land and things like that, or to settle the continent. It's like, yeah, okay, I have to bite the bullet and realize, yeah.
It's part of your family history. It's not your fault.
Right, I can't change it. Yeah, and I didn't do it.
You should pay reparations.
Oh yeah. Oh, okay. So how's this? I have Cherokee ancestry, Cherokee Indian ancestry, who were forced to march the Trail of Tears to Oklahoma. So if I paid my ancestors, I would actually have to pay my family again for their suffering. So.
Well, that's good paying yourself.
I just pay myself.
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, that's all fucked up. No, the whole reparations thing is a thing. I don't know. Ren,
Yes.
what do you think about this?
Yes.
Reparations.
When it comes to reparations, I think it's stupid because I believe I believe in individualism, and I believe that judging every person as an individual is kind of a lot like my dad. He um, he used to sell drugs and push drugs. I mean, this was before I was born, but he sold drugs, pushed drugs, sold guns and whatnot. That's like saying that I should go to jail based off what my dad did, even though I have no criminal history.
Yeah, pay reparations, bitch. You know, there's a whole community who's dependent on your paying reparations. It's uh, sorry, Ren, I don't want to call you bitch. You're not.
Oh, it's okay. Everybody does.
It's stupid, really. It's like saying all people, all white people have white guilt. You know, I don't think so. I come from a long line of poor people. we we didn't have slaves. We weren't involved in the slave trade. we no. There's no way in any way connected to this. No, I won't. It's that simple.
Yeah, white guilt, I think it's just they want people to feel bad. And I don't know why it's like it's a tactic to make people back off and or to restrict people's actions or right to do some things.
Yeah.
Like often during a debate, they'll resort to insults. You're a bigot, you're racist, you're Islamophobe, you're an homophobe, you're a this and that, and
You're a white cis heteronormative male. Fuck
yeah,
you.
even if it doesn't apply to whatever you said, they just throw the
Mhm.
whole book of insults at you, hoping that one will stick and make you feel bad and that you'll back off and feel shame. It's like they try to shame people and they're all against fat shaming and slut shaming.
Yeah, it reminds me of how Christians used to be, how Christians used to be like, you are a sinner and you just hate God and you hate Jesus. And they hope that they would say something that would make you feel guilt and shame. They hope that they would say the right words that would stick. I'm like, oh my goodness, I sure repent to go back to church. Please forgive me, God, and Jesus that I don't believe in.
Yeah. Yep, exactly that. Yeah.
Yeah, and I compare that like being white, I compare that to the original sin. And the thing about colonialization, that's the sin of the fathers.
Yeah.
There's so many parallels between what they do and religion. It amazes me. But it's only the bad side of religions, to be honest. It's like the shaming part, the feeling bad,
Yeah.
just to try to control you.
Yeah,
It's like the what MTV is trying to do, you know, erasing white history. They are really trying really hard to do this by you know Uhuru. You know, we all know Black Hitler.
Yes.
Saying that everything white people use has been invented by Africans. No, it isn't. Most was invented by white people, sometimes in collaboration with black people. We have calculus, which dates back to 2,000, 2,500 years. We have our alphabet, which is from the Middle East, not Muslims. The Middle East. Our numeric system, which is from the Middle East, not Muslims. The medical knowledge we had before the turn of the century, most of it came from Greece, Rome. Some of it came from the Middle East. There are things that black people invented, yes, and they were important, yes, but it's not like they invented everything, and MTV makes it look like okay. I think we're really off topic now.
Gosh.
Oh God, Ren! Gra- Grab the reins, pull us in, please.
You need to reel us back in, Ren.
Okay. In the face of yet another mass shooting, now it's time to acknowledge a profound but obvious truth. The Second Amendment is wrong for this country. It needs to be jettisoned. We can do that through a constitutional amendment. It's been done before when the 21st Amendment repealed the prohibition in the 18th, and now it must be done now. And I totally disagree with her here. It's like whenever there's a mass shooting, we must get rid of guns. When really, I'm pretty sure that some of those people got their guns illegally. The only thing you're doing is hurting law-abiding good people from getting guns. The bad people would either get guns illegally, or they would make a gun from scratch, or they'll make a homemade bomb.
Yes, yes, agree completely. What's her reasoning? Because that's the point, of course. She can scream this, but what's her reasoning? And I think that's the next paragraph.
Well, the reasoning is that like another mass shooting is not time to acknowledge the obvious shoot.
No, that's not a reasoning. That's just a prelude to what she's saying. I think it's the Second Amendment needs to be repealed because it's outdated, a threat to liberty and a suicide pact. When the Second Amendment was adopted in 1791, there were no weapons remotely like the AR-15. So yes, there was. Okay, and many of the advances of modern weaponry long from being invented or popularized. Sure, the founders knew that the world evolved and that technologies changed, but the weapons of today that are easily accessible are vastly different than anything that existed in 1791. When the Second Amendment was written, the founders didn't have to weigh the risks of one man killing 49 and injuring 53 all by himself. Now we do, and the risk-benefit analysis of 1791 is flatly irrelevant to the risk-benefit analysis of today. And there we are. That's her reasoning. And I disagree, because it's not about the gun, it's about the government.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
and by the way, according to I'll go according to their logic. So I'll start with the premise that did you know that there is 3 million AR-15s in possession in the US right now?
That's a lot of kills.
Yeah, so there's 2,999,999 shooting sprees to be expected,
Yes.
according to their logic.
Yes. Yes.
And technically, I fall in that category because I own one. So watch out.
I don't need a gun to go on a shooting spree. I can do this with a knife.
Yeah, there was actually a stabbing spree in Canada and Toronto a few months ago. Somebody stabbed 12 different people in a mall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In
You
Japan also,
don't.
somebody used a car to run into the crowd, then he got out and took out a sword and was trying to chop everybody in half.
It's
If somebody wants to hurt somebody else, there's no way of stopping them. It's like same thing for suicide. If somebody doesn't have access, they'll use a gun or pills, or sorry, if they don't have
but
access to a gun, they'll use a knife or pills or a rope or anything else.
they'll use whatever. And
Yeah.
this was predicted. You know, I read a lot of science fiction. And there's a writer called Joe Brunner who really accurately described these kinds of scenarios in the book called Everyone on Zanzibar, in which he says you have people who run amok. They just run amok. They just can't stand it anymore to be in a society in which everyone is packed up in big cities, and they go running around with guns and with knives and with machetes, and they just kill a lot of people. That's what they do because it's too cramped. It's like if you have two gerbils in a big cage, and it's a female and a male, you have 20 gerbils within 3 months, and they're gonna eat each other. It's that simple, and that's what people do too. We're gonna eat each other because there are too many people. Too many people concentrated in one spot. That is, they're going to do this. Some people are going to flip it, and there's no gun law that can prevent this.
Yeah, exactly, because there are Muslims who know how to make a homemade bomb from scratch. So it's like, what would stop a person from just making a bomb from scratch and just blowing a bunch of people up, which would most likely kill more people than a gun?
And on this note, the U.S. military has the improvised ammunitions handbook. They put it online. Really, you can actually make your own ammunitions by following the handbook, and it's vetted. You know, scientists have been over this book, and they say, well, yeah, this is going to work. So it's really easy to make a pipe bomb or anything really that explodes.
Yeah, just what do you call that? The head of matches.
Yeah.
That and duct tape or electrical tape, it's enough to make a bomb. You just need as a fuse or even just a lit match on top of it. I'm not saying I ever did that as a kid. Or even a chlorine bomb. Come on.
You can. There are so many things which explode if you put them together, and you know, you put a couple of ball bearings in there, and you have a very deadly bomb.
Yeah, even somebody did a test. Like I forget what's the credential of the guy, but he did a test, passed the TSA checkpoint in airport security in a secure zone. He bought some things at the souvenir stores, like the news stores. He got out without getting on a plane, got outside, and he built a bomb outside, and he showed a demonstration for the news crew that there was, if you know what you're doing, there's enough things even inside an airport secure zone to build an explosive device.
Yes. And then get aboard a plane. Boom.
Yeah, because you've been checked already, so it's the best place to acquire material.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was something about the stuff in some snow globes that contains alcohol and can be flammable also, and
yeah. And it's all these gun opposed people just think that if you just ban guns, you get rid of all the violence. It just doesn't work that way.
No.
Yeah, if a person wants to kill people, he'll find a way to kill people.
Yes.
I mean, if you really want to kill, you'll find a way to kill.
Any which way, yes.
Anyway, gun rights advocates like to make this all about liberty. Well, it is. It's something that's the freedom to bear arms is of most importance. Restricting their freedom would be a violation of basic rights.
And it would.
Yeah. But liberty is not a one-way street. It also includes the liberty to enjoy a night out with friends, loving who you want to love, dancing how you want to dance, in a club that has historically provided a refuge from the hate and fear that surrounds you. It also includes the liberty to go to and send your kids to kindergarten and first grade so that they can begin to be infused with a love of learning.
Let's
It's
make it about
No,
children.
right. You know,
Think of, well, you think of the children.
yeah, and that's usually the go-to. Yeah, let's pull on the heartstrings. Let's grab the kids, and
Yeah.
this is how they get people. But that's the thing about liberty. Liberty does not guarantee security. It
No.
never has. That is up to the individual. You secure yourself. You have the liberty to that security because you create it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but see, the thing is, I'm kind of known to be authoritarian.
Okay.
Yeah, and also as a government contractor, well, if the government goes haywire and decides to take over in a dictatorship kind of way, well, I'm on their side. I like to have a job. Yeah, but no.
I couldn't do that.
So
No.
yeah, so I'm only half joking. Guess
Okay, I
which
was
half?
hoping. I'm like going, really? Did he
No,
just
no, no.
go
I'm
there?
only half joking. It's just no, because I'm known to be authoritarian, and strangely enough, people think I'm a Nazi actually. But no, I'm a Trump supporter, and each time I am okay, I started to do the political compass test a few months ago. I was down to the left. And since I did it recently, I did two different tests on like two different sites, and I always end up authoritarian, like I'm literally Hitler.
Oh my God.
Oh my. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, so I guess something happened and my views changed, or either the left went further left and changed the scale of things.
Well, they
So,
didn't
but
change the test. I'm still, I think, 3 points from the left to 3 points from the bottom. You know, if you have the scale, it's 5 points or 6 points from the middle to the bottom, and 6 points from the middle to the left, and 6 points from the middle to the right. I'm 3-3, somewhere there.
yeah, you need to fix your scope to get a better aim for the middle.
I know. I just aim at the at the authoritarians.
Yeah, no, but from my point of view, because I believe in government oversight and also a reform of the government.
Yes.
So, but
I
so from my standing point, yes, I'm for gun rights, but even if I wanted to humor the people that say, no, we need to reform the system, how? I've never seen anybody come up with even a plausible way of reforming the gun system. Because, like the guy, he was a US born citizen.
Mhm.
Even if his family is from, I think, Pakistan or Afghanistan, he was born on US soil. He was a registered Democrat.
That doesn't even
And
it
I'm
doesn't
sure
even
he paid
matter.
his taxes. I'm sure he didn't have a criminal record. So how could
But
somebody flag him? Besides that, he's been under FBI investigation 3 times.
it doesn't even matter. Even if he couldn't get a gun legally, there are many ways to get a gun illegally.
Exactly. That wouldn't fix the problem. And even all the solutions I can see, even the solutions I come up with, I'd probably shoot myself in the foot. Haha, it's a pun. But it would probably limit my right to acquire guns.
Yes.
And I'm a law-abiding citizen, and I even work for the government.
Yeah, it's a thing I said today on Twitter. One way of dealing with some issues would be to, every registered gun has to provide one bullet shot by that gun for law enforcement purposes. You know, if a crime is committed, they find a bullet, they can pull it up to a database and say, oh, this is this registered gun. That would be what, 2% of all crimes?
Yeah. Oh, they did that in Canada. They did the gun registry and they abandoned it after spending a couple of billions when the
Yeah,
estimated cost was something like 200 millions and they
it
spent, I think, 20 billions on it over the years.
it doesn't work. It's that simple.
That's the thing, because they ended up in, okay, they were saying at first, yeah, it's to help law enforcement when they get on the scene of a potential crime that's been reported so that they can do a check to see if there's a gun registered. But as part of their training, they already knew that you should always assume that there's a gun in the premises.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if anything came from that, it would give them a false sense of security. What if
Yes.
there's a criminal that's hidden in the house?
Mm.
They
Yeah.
won't check his address. They don't even know who he is. You
No.
know, if there's a 911 call where somebody just screams or somebody just says help and hangs up or something like that, they can't check if there's other perpetrator on the premises, so that doesn't help.
No.
And also there was fraud by the guy that was in charge of the setting up the gun registry because some guns were scheduled to be destroyed and he happened to be a gun collector and that's why he got the job in the first place and he saved with air quotes antiques from destruction as they were supposed to be and kept them for himself.
Mhm. Good thing.
So yeah, it's
Good
been
thing.
tried in other country like Canada, and it turned into a big clusterfuck.
Yeah. Canada is big. Here, I don't think any law-abiding citizen here has a gun. It's
Yeah, but okay, and I've lived in Canada for a long, long time, and now that I look back, the way that there's some laws about weapons safety that are some are overly intrusive, but some make sense. Like there's a law that says if not in use, every weapon has to be, according to the law, either in a room that is difficult to break into or in a locked container like a cabinet or a safe.
yeah.
And it has to be unloaded with a trigger lock on the
And the bullets
weapon
should be in
and
another.
the ammo
Yes.
in a separate locked box.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
But
Um,
that's a little bit too much. But at least, because I've seen too many times, I go to my friend's house and he's like changing the stock on his shotgun on the kitchen table, and the kids are running around. I know his shotgun is not loaded,
mhm.
but or people that sleep with a handgun under their pillow or under their bed, or there's guns stashed everywhere just in case there's a break-in and they want them to be accessible. Like I'm
Yeah.
looking for a knife or a fork, I open the utensil drawer and I see a 22 in there.
Yeah. But then, if you see this, um, get some stats and look at how many burglaries ultimately end in killings.
Yeah.
It's
And also,
neglectable. It's
yeah, and
almost
also it's
nothing.
those guns that are stored improperly that because what if there's nobody in the house and somebody breaks in to rob them and
Yeah.
somehow they found a big stash of weapons that aren't secured? Then
Yes.
that will turn into more illegal guns in the market.
Yep. But on the other hand, keep them secure. Yes. But have them. You know, you have the right. Keep them.
Yeah, yeah,
it's
keep them, but there should
some.
be laws on how they're stored.
Yes. Yes.
That's
I
my thing,
think that.
just for
Yeah.
personal safety to prevent
Yeah.
accidental shootings or kids getting access to them at the very
Well,
least.
with the kids and stuff, I still think the Darwin Awards are a strong thing.
But I also believe that education, especially educating children, depending on, I guess, the age that you would start them on, would
Yeah.
would be important. I know that as where I'm from, from Tennessee, and we hunt and things of that nature. And I was introduced to firearms at an early age. I understood the lethal potential of that tool,
Yeah, you can
and
see it if you drop a deer. You
yeah,
see it.
yeah, you can see it if you drop a deer or a rabbit
Yeah.
or a bird or whatever you're happen to be hunting for that day, whatever you're putting on the table. But a lot of people, they're so scared of weapons that they would never introduce their children to them, and so we have generations of children who've never been introduced, who do not know the safe use of them, and they also don't know the history and the importance of them.
Yeah. Yeah. It's. I think in the Second World War, the Netherlands was run over by the Germans. They took 3 days, um, and of those 3 days, 2.5 days were lost at a bridge in Rotterdam. because there was a contingent of conscripted soldiers who were learning to communicate. I don't know what you call it in America. They did telegraphy and stuff like that. They didn't have any feeling for the guns, and they kept the Germans away for 2.5 days over a bridge.
That's impressive, though, for soldiers who were not regularly drilled in the use of their weapon. That is still very impressive.
It's very impressive, and this is what a gun can do, and that's why it's important that everyone has a gun. It's that simple. If I live in a very simple street, if people want to get to the back of my house, there are two ways, and one way, one corridor can be easily covered from two houses, and my street is covered from 100 houses. You just put your gun out and you start shooting down the street. It's that simple.
But that's what's so nice about people having morals, and knowing, or understanding the importance of life. You don't give weapons to immoral, horrible people.
No.
That's one thing you would never want to do. Unfortunately, like Ren was saying, if people want to kill people, they're gonna do it.
They're gonna do it. And if say the Germans got bad again, it's very, very remotely possible. But say they're going to get bad again. If they ride up my street, I want to be able to shoot them.
Oh, exactly. Yeah, you would definitely want to do what you can.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I can't wait for my daughter to be old enough to buy her first pink rifle.
Oh.
It'll be so cute. I saw some at the gun shop, and I was like, oh, it's so cute. I would like do a stencil on it with I can do airbrush Barbie. Yes, but some people do know it will look like a toy. No,
it is, but it is in a way it is, every toy, even Legos, put a Lego on the floor.
Yeah, have you ever stepped on a Lego? You even teach yourself new curse words when that happens.
Yes. It's horrible.
But I want to educate my daughter to handle a weapon safely.
Yes,
because I don't want her
everything.
to.
I have we call it a handbovenvrees, a fräs. It's a machine with spinning two spinning blades, which you can use to make shit in wood, and it goes in 30,000 rounds per minute. It's so fast, it's so hard, and it's a dangerous weapon. If I put it in your face, you're gone.
Yeah.
You have to learn to use it. It's dangerous. And so many things are dangerous. If you have a hammer, a good hammer, and you bash, you try to put a nail into some wood, and you don't pull your thumb back, well, that's a trip to the hospital. It's that simple. You have to learn to use your tools. You have to learn to use your toys.
Right. Well, I always looked at it as being tools. Now I know a lot of people say, "Well, tools build things," but tools. Yeah,
A sledgehammer doesn't build anything.
Well, exactly, it doesn't. But
it builds muscles.
It does
muscles. Yes.
But I could also use the same thing. It's like if I have a sledgehammer, I break up some granite, break up rocks. I take that rock and then I turn it into concrete, and then once again I'm building.
Yes.
It is still a tool that I'm using to create something. Now, with guns and with firearms, you may be taking the life, but you may also be providing life to others through food. And that's the way we always looked at it.
And another way to look at it is we have a special brain circuit that's concerned with ballistics. It trains your ballistics, as does spears.
Right.
Shooting a bow and arrow trains your ballistic perception. This is important. It's an important thing to be able to do.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
But I'm going to make some more coffee.
Have fun.
Yeah, because a friend of mine, okay, that will sound like a random story, but a friend of mine, his father actually got shot by accident because he was playing with a gun in the woods with his friends when he was a teenager. And that story stayed with me for a long time because I don't want my daughter or any kids to learn with their friends without adult supervision. Uh, to shoot or well, learn is a big word, but to go shoot a gun for the first time in the middle of the woods with their friends that maybe don't even know how to handle it safely either.
No, exactly. That is very important. Yeah. And it's really good to hear dads talk about, teaching their children properly. It's wonderful to hear that sort of stuff.
Yeah, yeah, because to me, it's really, really important. And people that say guns are just used to kill people. No, I used to be into archery as a kid. I almost made it to the Olympics.
Oh,
And then I got into a work-related accident, and I'm partially disabled since then. So to me, uh, shooting a gun is the extension of that. And I won't go shoot somebody. Yeah, at first it was because I like the sports side of it. Like you compete against yourself. It doesn't matter what the guy next to you is shooting or how good he is or how bad he is. You compete against yourself to improve yourself. And it's the same principles as archery, which is recognized as a sport. Like it's muscle memory, yeah, breathing control, and things like that, precision. So some people forget about that.
it's always great when I run into fellow archers. I love archery. That's awesome.
Yeah, yeah, archery is awesome because it doesn't take a lot, just a small twitch
Yeah.
or just not like a bad move, you let the string go, or let's say you don't control your breathing right. It can make a huge difference at long distances and with high-powered bows.
Ren, unfortunately, I have to run. So I want to thank you guys very much for hanging out and chatting with me and it was really nice getting to talk to you, Feminist Flow. I've been watching your videos for the last couple of months. They're awesome.
Oh, thanks.
So Ren, thanks again for inviting me, and I will talk with you guys later.
No problem. Bye.
All right, bye. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's your opinion on that, Rin? You haven't talked much about this.
I haven't done archery before.
No, but I mean for the gun control or rights to own guns or anything like that.
Oh, I'm for gun rights. I believe that I believe in the Second Amendments.
So do you own any guns?
No,
Have you ever shot a gun before?
no.
What are you waiting for?
I live in a very safe area.
So try it only once. Like my ex-wife she grew up Jehovah's Witness, and she was against weapons because it's part of her religion to be against guns. Guns are for war, kill people, and blah 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 blah. But I took her to the shooting range once, and she was so happy that she did it. She didn't like it that much, like she wouldn't pick it up as a hobby, but just to be able to say that she did it once and she wasn't afraid, she didn't drop it, and she was proud of herself after that. It's an experience.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just that like I just live in a safe, quiet little town, and so I mean nothing happens here, so it feels pointless to have a gun.
No, but at least go try it. You can go to a shooting range, you just rent a lane for an hour, you rent a weapon for an hour or whatever time you want, sometimes 15 minutes. And that's it. You try it, and it costs maybe overall $30. And you can say after that, yep, I did it.
Maybe one day then.
Yeah, because usually often I work with foreign nationals who are visiting for business purposes, and I always offer them to go to the shooting range with me. I just need an excuse to justify it.
Are you addicted to the shooting range?
No, it's because it's not because as a foreign national myself at the time, it wasn't, I couldn't rent a weapon every place. It was only at certain states that I could.
Mhm.
And so either I would need like a visiting citizen from Panama or let's say Puerto Rico, or if it's just because I couldn't rent a rifle by myself, I needed a US citizen for that. Or if it was somebody from another country, just shooting a handgun, they were happy. And so, no, because for myself, I don't, yeah, I go once in a while by myself, but it's more fun to go with somebody, and I don't really get the opportunity to do that often. And also, yeah, so I gave them basic safety training, how to handle the weapon, how to do it. And there's maybe 12 or 15, between 12 and 15 people that I taught them how to shoot a weapon for the first time. And they liked it. It's an experience. Like one guy, the guy I was talking about earlier, a guy from Denmark, he was in the military for 2 years and shot his rifle only 3 times. He said at the end, we spent 2 hours there. At the end, I was so bored, I wanted to leave. I was getting tired of it. But he said that his cheeks were starting to hurt from smiling so much as he was doing it.
Really?
Yeah,
It's a very, very, very nice feeling shooting a gun. It's
yeah.
yeah, it's impressive.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, because at first it was like, no, 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 I want to, I just want to shoot something small, like as small as you can get, just to get the feel of it, and that's it. And but then after a while, it was like, okay, can we do a Desert Eagle now?
Desert Eagle. Wow.
Yeah, and at the end he said, oh, 22 feels like throwing a dart or shooting a rock, throwing a
Yeah.
rock
But
target.
how was his shoulder the day after?
Oh, it was just handguns because I couldn't rent a
But
rifle by
a
myself because of
Desert
export
Eagle.
laws.
But a Desert Eagle, it punches.
Oh, they wouldn't rent it to us because we didn't have experience. Because
Ah, yes.
yeah, and
Yeah.
yeah, and like there's two types of range. Like the NRA range, I usually go. They don't rent any weapons, and before even being able to rent a lane, you have to pass a say like what's I forget what they call it, but like a test that shows that you like they view like a couple of pages to read, like a pamphlet or
Mhm.
like an article, whatever you call it, a small booklet to read, and they say then they make you pass a test, and you have to pass the test to be able to access the range.
Mhm.
So that's more regulated, and they want to make sure that you know really well that you know what you're doing, that you've shot before. As opposed to some other ranges, it's just a questionnaire that they make you fill. Are you on drugs? Do you have mental issues? Are you a felon? And it's all, they don't verify that. They just assume that you tell the truth. And the only test that they make you go through is, well, for the person renting the weapon, not the person shooting it, which is a huge loophole. So they ask you to like insert the magazine, remove the magazine, check the bolt, put the safety on. So they want to make sure that you can handle it safely, the physical side of it, the manipulation side of it.
Yeah.
But see, the loophole is that my wife is a US citizen, I'm not. So I used to drag her to the range once in a while so she could rent a rifle under her name, and I showed her a YouTube video on how to clear the bolt on a AR-15. And just so that she would learn enough to pass the safety test, and she could rent it under her name, then she would never shoot it, just hand it over to me, and I would go shoot it.
Okay, Rin. I think we're up to the next thing now. What was this? You had a thing up. It
Uh,
includes the liberty to go to a movie. Blah.
Oh yeah, it includes the liberty to go to a movie, to your religious house of worship, to college, to work, to an abortion clinic, go to a hair salon, to a community center, to the supermarket, to go anywhere and feel that you are free to do so without having to weigh the risk of being gunned down by someone wielding a weapon that can easily kill you and countless others, but that person was a Muslim and he was killing the gays, and that's because his ideology tells him to. What are we going
Yes.
to do? Ban Muslims next?
Mm. But beside that, it's a non-argument to go anywhere and feel that you are free to do so without having to weigh the risk of being gunned down is absolutely impossible, because you can get guns illegally. Everybody can get a gun illegally. They can mow you down anytime.
Yeah, I mean, a bad, terrible person would just get a gun illegally or make one. And Anders, he was on a hangout and he was showing people how to make a gun. I mean, he didn't go through the process, but he showed bits and pieces of the process, though.
Yes. And the only thing that's hard about making a gun is the rifling. The rest is easy.
The liberty of some to own guns cannot take precedence over the liberty of everyone to live their lives free from the risk of being easily murdered. It has for too long, and we must now say no more. But you
But
can make bombs. You can make bombs,
no,
though.
this is fault. This is a fault. Absolutely, the liberty of some to own guns cannot take precedence over the liberty of everyone. No, it's the liberty of everyone to own guns. Yes, and it does take precedence over the liberty of everyone to live their lives free from the risk of being easily murdered. It's the liberty of everyone. Again, a fault in the article. It's horrible. It's a horrible article.
Yes, we must now say no more. Finally, if we take the gun rights lobby to their word, the Second Amendment is a suicide pact, as they say over and over. The only way to stop a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun. In other words, please the gun manufacturers by arming even the vast majority of Americans who do not own a gun.
Yeah, uh, it's a very good point in Lord of War, where he says 9 out of 11 people have a gun, and our problem is not to get the guns out of the hands of all the other people, but to get the other two armed. Really.
Just think of what would have happened in the Orlando nightclub Saturday night if there had been. Sorry, let's close into photo. Um, if there had been many others armed in a crowded, dark, loud dance club after the shooter began firing, imagine if others took their guns and started firing back. Yes, maybe they would have killed the shooter, but how would anyone else have known exactly what was going on? How would it not have devolved into mass confusion and fear, followed by a large-scale shootout without anyone knowing who was the good guy with a gun and who was the bad guy with a gun and who was just caught in the middle? The death toll could have been much higher if people were armed. More
Well,
people.
this is of course stupid. How would it not have devolved into mass confusion and fear? What? And one man with a rifle shooting into a crowd is not causing mass confusion and fear.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously.
So,
Yeah,
yeah.
everybody is calm until other people pull out their guns and start shooting. Then everybody panics.
Yeah, like I don't know how old you are. You sound a little bit older than me, but I don't know if you remember the Texas sharpshooter event in the clock tower.
Yeah, yeah.
So there were private citizens shooting their guns at the clock tower right next to the police, and the police would welcome their help.
Yes, of course. Every bullet going that way is a bullet.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, but
but
to
the
go
whole
back to the previous point, how do you stop a gun? How do you stop somebody with a gun? Kindness and hugs?
no,
Like,
but at least the whole this again it's a paragraph. It's misconstruing the situation. It was mass confusion. It was fear. It was a large scale shootout, and someone with a gun might have prevented it. Might. I don't say it would have happened, but they might have prevented it. And saying that everybody pulling their guns and shooting at the shooter would have resulted in mass confusion and fear is just insane. It's insane what's written here.
Yeah, it's totally insane. I mean, if one person starts shooting a bunch of people, then you whip your gun out and shoots the bad guy who's shooting at a bunch of innocent people. You know, if one person has the good shots and they shoot the shooter, then and everything stops. If everything ends, the problem would be solved.
Yes, and maybe you shoot someone indeed, like you said, feminist flow. Maybe you would shoot someone by accident. Yes, maybe, but it's not 49. You know, the shooter is killing people in all places, and they're all going down. And someone pulls his gun, and before he hits his next magazine, he's down. So that's what, 17 people instead of 49. That's 32 people saved. And maybe you shoot someone. Okay, it's not 17. You shoot 3 people next to him, and it's 20. It's still 29 people saved. The
yeah.
stupidity of this paragraph is
Well, it's not just a paragraph.
no. It's the whole article. This paragraph stands out.
Yeah, this whole entire article is crazy, so I had to make a video on it.
Yeah. The gun rights lobby's mantra that more people need guns will lead to an obvious result. More people will be killed. We'd be walking down a road in which bloodbaths are a common occurrence, all because the Second Amendment allows them to be. Again, going on, he's just going on the paragraph before. No, it's stupid to think so. But yeah, there was a bit of Dutch there.
At this point, speaking about the niceties of textual interpretation, whether the history of the amendment supports this view or not, and how legislators can solve this problem within the confines of the Constitution is useless drivel that will lead to more of the same. We need a mass movement of those who are fed up with the long-dead founders' views of the world ruling current day politics.
Oh, this is a cheap shot. This is a cheap shot. They are long dead, and because they are long dead, they don't know how society works. Well, they did then. People don't change that much in 240 years.
You're right. I mean, evolution is a very long process.
Very, very slow, yes.
Oh, I don't believe in evolution, just creationism.
Jerk.
Yes.
No,
I can believe in anything as long as it can be funny.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
Yes, as long as it proves my point, During arguments with BLM people, I like to say I'm Asian because it fucks up their narrative.
Any movements of those who will stand up and say that our founding documents was wrong and needs to be changed. Mass movements of those who would dumb their nose at the NRA, an organization that is nothing more than a political wing of the country's gun manufacturers, and say enough is enough. The Second Amendment must be repealed, and it is the essence of American democracy to say so.
Well, you're obviously not saying so. I see a lot of people on Twitter, on the Twitter, and actually a lot of people voting Republican, and even people voting Democrat, who say no. It's not just a right. It's almost an obligation to have a gun, just to be on the safe side, because your government must be able to be overthrown, and that's what it's for. And they do. Rolling Stone just doesn't seem to get it. It's not for protection. It's for the government.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, I found a video that we should watch after that. It's only 1 minute.
Yeah, I finished the whole entire article.
Okay, yeah. Can you put on the video for 1 minute? It's 1 minute long, yeah, and it's pretty funny actually. It's not funny, but it's funny in a way.
Okay, I'll try screen sharing the video.
It's from BBC News, so I assume it's legit information.
BBC News, legit information.
Let me just put this on the screen share. Let me know when you guys could see it. Let's see. Oh, oops, clicked the wrong thing. Is this it?
Yes.
Time at the bar, he was talking to me about his ex-wife. My friends came out from the back and said, "Let's go take pictures in the patio." So I left, and then they told me they didn't want me talking to him because they thought he was a strange person. He used to come in the bar about on the weekend. Sometimes he would be there. Sometimes he would miss a couple weeks and then could be in again. He was regular. We consider that regular because some of us go to a different bar on a different weekend. We don't always go to the same bar every night. Let me believe you his name. Omar. Yeah. He was trying to pick up people, men. He's homosexual, and he was trying to pick up men. He would walk up to them, and then he would maybe put his arm around them or something, and maybe try to get them to dance a little bit or something, and then go over and buy a drink or something. That's what people do at gay bars. You know, that's what we do.
When you saw his picture, what went through your mind when you saw his picture?
It was we just went, oh, like, yeah, that makes sense. There, that's Omar.
All right.
Oh my god.
I'm sorry, but I thought it was so funny when I saw that.
It's a serious case of suppressed longings.
Yeah,
No,
so it wasn't Islam, you guys.
But it was. It's the same reason why Christians up until what 30, 40 years ago would hang themselves.
Yeah.
It's the same. It's shame. It's your belief system going against your feelings. Of course it was Islam, and if a Christian would have done this, of course it would have been Christianity. I'm sorry for him. I'm really sorry for him. I'm more sorry for the people he killed, but I'm sorry for him. I'm sorry that his belief system didn't let him be who he wanted to be, who he was. It's a bad
Right.
thing.
Yeah, so he had trouble to deal with that because of his religion. That's the thing.
Yes. It's really heartbreaking, really. Um, over here we have, the homo movement has been active and successful since the 60s. I think we were one of the first countries where you can actually get married as a homo couple. We don't know this anymore. Not in this sense, but we had our hangings. People who just couldn't live with themselves. It's horrible.
Yeah, it's terrible. The type of negative effect the religion has on the person.
Yeah.
Oh, Runfoot is on chat. He says he's a gun nut, and that's the Second Amendment's rights to own heavy artillery. Um, yeah.
I've always said, as a joke, I never had a driver's permit, and a friend of mine would say, "Well, you don't have a chance when you get into the traffic." So I told him, "Well, I think everybody who doesn't have a driver's permit, who actually has never tried to get a driver's permit, should get a gun permit free." And he said, "Well, a car is very big." And I said, "Well, a gun permit goes very far." A bazooka is a gun.
Yeah, and look, something else people don't think about is that a car could be a murder weapon. I mean, you can always run somebody over with a car.
Yeah, we had that here a couple of years ago during Koninginnedag. I don't know if you know what it is. It's when the Queen celebrated her birthday. It was always on the 30th of April. We have a king now, and it's on 27th of April. But a couple of years ago, someone just took his car and drove into the crowd. This was murder. He died himself. He went into a pole and slammed into his steering wheel, and he died. But he used his car as a murder weapon. It's so easy to kill people if
Yes.
you just want to.
Yeah, if a person just wants to kill, then you can ban all the guns in all across the United States. A person could make a gun, make a bomb, kill with his car, kill with a knife,
Yes,
kill with a sword. If a person really wants to kill, they would kill.
they are going to kill. Yes, yes. That's why the whole gun ban discussion is moot, really. It doesn't say anything. Oh no, we don't have any guns anymore. No, and all the stabbings go up. It's ludicrous,
Yeah,
really.
yeah, exactly. It's just so stupid. Um,
Yeah.
well, it's quieting down, so do you guys want to just end it here?
It's okay to me. Yes.
All right. That's all, everybody. Goodbye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye, Rin. Bye, feminist Flo.
Bye.
Bye.